Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on into part 2 of our day as always from day 1. Time of the Fearless pulls out and away, leaving us now with their new event as Winds from the East come on in. Now, normally we would, of course, start with the mailbag. However, in this situation, there is slightly a different tactic to follow. So please bear with me for just a few seconds. As tonight in part 2, we will actually start with the dungeon, nicely nickname referred to usually as the Fungeon. You know, the fun dungeon, according to Wreck-It Ralph. The reason for that is quite simple. I want to be able to claim that before I can't. Because, as we go, yeah, it's going to show the lunar skin ads, okay. Okay. Because, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, as you see the clock there, we only have 21, give or take, minutes left of Valkyrie's favor. Okay, so I don't need to have him do a second one. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. So now we can hit the mailbag. But we start with our first situation of the day, and it's a sovereign citizen that demands that police stop enforcing the law. Yeah, you heard that right. Demands that we stop enforcing the law. And no, Judge Dredd, you cannot come out here and yell, I am the law. Sorry, not allowed. At least, not today, at least. And if you do take a look at our energy over in that top corner, you see it is 2001. I did go ahead and forget to do it on stream, but the second we stopped part one's recording, I remembered before it expired, did claim that envelope getting the 2000 energy and everything else before it expired. So hence why the energy level is as it is currently, which means we'll be using a lot of it here in the not too distant future. First, cross-server Tournament of the Elements for a Sunday night. We will go through Stage 2 tonight. Leave Stage 3 for Monday morning, Part 1, so that we can get our double dip. And while they're doing that, let's begin with that Sovereign Citizen. Oh, I forgot to turn up the audio.
Let's go to the police department and let's see what the police department has to say. I'm going to request to speak to a sergeant or somebody else in the matter about, some of these guys acting like tyrants. And I just do not appreciate that.
He's going to something called the White Lake Police Department. Well, ain't this a convenience? Here we go.
I'm doing pretty good. Is there a sergeant on duty or somebody I can speak to? Do you know which sergeant it is? Sergeant Wagonmaker? I haven't heard of Sergeant Wagonmaker.
Oh,
Okay.
poor baby. You haven't heard
one
of
of
him.
the detectives? Yes. Okay, or anybody that is in a position of authority for, let's see, Hartner and Swalwell?
You know, there's one thing I'm going to admit that I envy of this guy, and that's
What?
the abundance of free time he has. It's
Oh.
a shame he doesn't know what to do with it.
True.
Okay, are you Detective Ivory? Lieutenant Ivory? Okay, oh, perfect. Lieutenant Ivory, I've got Hartner and I've got Swalwell. And it came to my attention that Swalwell, they gave me a ticket for driving with expired license, which, I mean, I do have an expired license, but I also tried to explain to the officers on the side of the road about your right to travel and the Supreme Court decisions that were up
Wrong.
many, many times about your right to travel.
A right to travel? Now, why does that sound so familiar?
Come on, hold on, let me play you some clips.
I'm not driving, I'm traveling. And I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
I'm traveling, not driving at all.
And it seems like the
Does that help you?
officers are just completely disregard what the Supreme Court has said.
Whoops, how'd that get there?
And they just want to keep giving me citations. And I've already got the matter. I just went to the Clarkston courthouse today. So until this matter gets cleared up, is there any way you can instruct your staff just to stop violating my Fifth Amendment right to my due process of law?
So you don't agree with the law, and you're asking the police department to actually not enforce it and not to cite you when you break it.
Yes. Hey, I'm not the sovereign citizen.
Serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Well, but I don't want to talk to an attorney. I don't want to talk to an attorney. What I want is, until this matter gets resolved, okay, it came to my attention on the 3rd with Hartner. He's actually making radio contact with Swalwell to say that they see me out traveling on the road and I have a right to travel.
There it goes again. Weird.
And these right. Okay.
Just so you know, every time you hear the ding, like Fred on the other side here is putting up the word sovereign citizen on the screen. Hence his reference goes, oops, there it went again.
Well, it's not an opinion. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, I'll fight it all the way to the Supreme Court, and then they'll rule on it again. But
Nope,
Thank you, Ben.
not gonna happen.
what I would appreciate is, I mean, they're supposed to be protecting and serving, not radioing ahead and saying, "Hey, we see this guy out here," and then they'll pull me over, and then they'll see me.
Okay, that's enough of the copyrighted music. Knock it off. Knock it off, my friend. Okay. I have to give you credit there. He went and bet your world's smallest violin. Play this sovereign
This
citizen
isn't
story.
sovereign citizen type stuff. It's not like
Thank
I'm out there causing trouble or wreaking havoc on the community. I'm just out there. I'm trying to travel with my family, and I don't want them towing my vehicle. I mean, if they decide to violate my rights and they decide to tow my vehicle, then I guess in federal court I might have to ask them why they did that. Right. I mean, I think it's all better when we all come to an understanding anyways.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, everyone else in the world gets their license renewed and obeys the rules of the road. So perhaps you should too.
Yes,
Okay,
he should.
well, please let them know that, I'm okay, I'm here to, I'm recording, so this is a formal notice.
Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. I will more than happy make sure I do tell the officers that if they see you, to pull you the fuck over.
If they want to violate my Fifth Amendment right and deny me due process of law, then I will have no choice but to file Section 242, Title 18, which is deprivation of rights under color of law. And that is a felony.
We do not care.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't want those officers to be charged with felonies.
Yeah, spoiler warning.
They won't.
They wouldn't be.
How do you know?
Because I clicked the "they won't be" button.
Right, and I just went there today. And I went there today, and the deputy at the front. Okay.
I like that the officers dismissing them.
Yes. I would like to file a formal complaint, and I don't want them radioing ahead and just messing with a guy who's out there causing no harm to the community.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
Yes, he does.
Okay, because obviously you're a lieutenant, you're an educated man, you have critical thinking skills, right? That's why you're in the position that you're in. So, okay. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
No, you don't.
Take care.
And that was the end of the video. It takes a specially deluded person to think they could just demand the cops to not enforce the law just because they don't agree with it. What, you think you could just drive out there without a license and break the laws without consequences?
Hey. Wait a second. I can do you one better. I seriously can do you one better. I've got, you put that video? I've got one where he actually went back and he's still demanding them not to enforce the law. Yes, we have a part 2. Let me cue that up for us real quick. Let's see, it should be right about there.
This is a formal notice that if they want to violate my Fifth Amendment right and deny me due process of law, then I will have no choice but to file Section 242, Title 18, which is deprivation of rights under color of law. And that is a felony.
See, that guy. That's your guy, ain't it? Perfect. Let's go with the idiot, shall we?
Swalwell's information. I got some paperwork for that guy. For that tyrant. Or should we say the oath breaker? The oath breaker tyrant, Swalwell.
Oh, you're an idiot? Okay.
And I got paperwork for Hartner, too.
Most of our encounters with sovereign citizens have been nonviolent. They're argumentative, sometimes uncooperative. They will file liens and lawsuits against our officers and their property.
Hartner thinks it's cool to force people off the side of the road by force of arms, and that is not cool either.
Citation.
Translation,
Fucking
I got pulled
needed.
over for having an expired license that I don't want to renew because I don't think I should have to have a driver's license, and I'm just a big baby having a temper tantrum. Also, get used to forced off the side of the road by force of arms. For some reason, this drama queen likes to keep saying it.
Ah.
If you or I did that to somebody, forced them off the side of the road, we'd be charged criminally.
Well, yeah, because you're just some random crazy person. Police officers, on the other hand, are trained, sworn, and authorized by the state to pull you over when you break the law.
So, I'm not sure if I'm going to pursue criminal charges yet.
Wow.
Well, good luck with that. The state
You're
courts
dumb.
aren't going to give two but federal court sure will.
Spoiler alert,
No.
they won't give two either.
Thank you.
Federal court still has some level of credibility left.
Yeah, you're right. They do have credibility. Credibility and not to listen to your bullshit.
They care about the Constitution and care about preserving rights.
Of course they do, especially the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, which gives states the rights to make it a law that you have to have a driver's license
Bingo!
and enforce that law when you violate it.
You got it, my friend. And of course, the idiot wants to take pictures of cops. They're up on the wall.
Tyrant number 2. Tyrant number 1.
Ah, 2 more people who live rent-free in your head, apparently. I mean, given the amount of empty space in there, there is room to spare.
Yes, there's a lot of
Hello.
space to
I
spare.
need to get some information on Swalwell. I need his home address.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And Hartner. I have some paperwork I have to send to them. Well, no, it has to be sent certified mail, so I know that they got it for court reasons. But, is Ivory here today? I sent him a bunch of questions that were prepared already, so maybe he's ready for me.
Or maybe it's just the fact he had better things to do than to review your nonsense scribbled in crayon that you call legal documents.
You know, like taking a shit.
I told him I'd be back. Hello to the one person that's watching.
Yeah. He actually called out that he only had one person in his live stream.
One person, that's not my friend. Maybe you're the undercover guy assigned to my Facebook. I don't know.
So how does humble pie taste anyway?
If you're gonna act tyrannical, I'm gonna issue a tyrant alert on you. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna notify the community. You're not interested in keeping the community safe. You're interested in acting like a tyrant.
Dude, I don't think you know what the fuck a tyrant is.
And codes, that's what you're interested in. You take an oath to support the Constitution.
You do realize you're basically just talking to yourself right now.
Yes, he is.
Oh, that guy right there, the young kid. He's a good officer. He's gonna make a good officer. I had the chance to speak with him. That dude's gonna make a good officer.
Why? Because he actually cared to listen to you for 3 seconds?
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure he'll pull you over and give you a ticket for an expired license at some point. It's kind of becoming their rite of passage around there.
Probably shouldn't say that. I'll probably get him in trouble with his department by saying that. Which is sad. It's like, all we expect you to do is, you see somebody doing wrong out there. You got a duty to put a stop to it.
You mean somebody who drives with an expired license, refuses to renew it, drives on the public road with no regard for the traffic laws, makes a mockery of our justice system, makes prank calls to police stations, encourages other people to do it, and wants personal information of police officers so they can dox or stalk them?
Oh,
I
hell
couldn't
yes.
agree more someone should put a stop to that.
You got it.
So, nobody's here today?
You are.
Okay, because, is Swalwell, on duty today? He's not? My guess is he's probably on patrol, right? Patrol duty, typically. Well, right. But right. What I'm saying is, I have paperwork to send. Just to recap, he forced me off the side of the road by force of arms.
No.
He violated my 4th and my 5th Amendment right. So I have some paperwork to send to him, and I'm thinking about charging him criminally as well with the FBI.
Oh, dear God, really? Okay, Jamison.
You serious?
And
Yes.
what I need is a place to send him mail certified where he's going to sign for the mail. And if he's out on patrol, he's never going to be here to get the mail, right? So I have to send it to his home address. The judge and the attorney that I'm going to be sending the paperwork to, more than likely they're going to be at their office or the judge is going to be at the courthouse, correct? So I can actually address it to the court. I can actually address it to the attorney's office, and they'll actually sign for it there because more than likely that's where they're going to be.
And more than likely they're going to just throw it in the trash?
Yeah.
But Swalwell, I don't think he's...
Actually, no, they'll probably keep it to be able to file that he's basically being a vexatious litigant. But other than that, yeah, probably circular file.
Spends a lot of time in here. He spends a lot of time out on the road. So where am I going to send him mail to where he's going to be able to sign for it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. How about this? They delayed my court date another month up in Clarkston, right?
Oh, yeah, because you constantly say you don't understand the nature of the charges and you can't understand the definition of the word drive and all that other absolute nonsense on your part?
Correct.
What if I just want to resolve this matter today? I just want to pay for what I supposedly did wrong. I just want to pay it and I just want to be done with it today. Can I pay that?
What's this? You actually want to pay the fine? But I thought they were unjustly charging you with a
No, he
nonviolent
doesn't.
victim's crime, and you were going to fight this all the way to the Supreme Court.
not here. Tickets are handled through the courthouse. So, right. But they're not even going to let me make a payment at the courthouse, correct? You don't know that? Well, no, they won't. And the reason why is because you have to have a court date, right? So, right, but then you have to admit that you did wrong, correct? Like
Which
you have
you
to sign
did.
stating that you did something wrong, right? And I know I didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, wait, never mind. He's still delusional. Man, way to give a guy false hope.
Right? I know I didn't cause loss, injury, or harm to anybody. I know there's going to be no party with legal standing in the matter. You know, there's going to be nobody there saying that I did them wrong. Like, I'm going to ask them in court to say, you know, whoever I did wrong to, please point at the person that did you wrong. There's going to be nobody in that courtroom that's going to be able to point at me, right? Because it's on behalf of the state of Michigan, or it's going to be on behalf of the Township of White Lake. The Township of White Lake can't physically show up because it's a fictional entity.
It's false. You are physically standing inside the town of White Lake, and the town of White Lake has assigned a prosecutor to represent them.
Sorry if this is boring, guys, but just up at the police station, I needed to get Swalwell's information, and I need to get Hardner's information as well, because those two guys think it's cool to act like tyrants and force you off the side of the road by force of arms. And we all know what happens if you ignore them and you don't pull off to the side of the road by force of arms. Then they're going to escalate it to what they call a felony traffic stop, where you didn't stop for them. But, you know, the Fifth Amendment does state that, you know, you can't be deprived of your life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
That's probably why you were given just a ticket and a day to go to court and argue your case. If your arguments actually have merit, then you walk freely without punishment.
Guess what? They
and
don't.
If in all likelihood your argument is without merit, then you are subject to punishment and will be required to pay the fines and renew your license. Sounds like your Fifth Amendment rights are being honored to me.
So, what that means is whenever
That
you
means
are
is
forced
he's
off
an
the
idiot.
side of the road, basically for expired license, no registration, anything like that, in essence, you have been seized on the side of the road.
No.
And you've been deprived of your liberty, which is to just travel unmolested throughout your community without due process of law. And that is wrong. That's
Somebody
unlawful.
slap him.
And these guys swear an oath to the Constitution, and that Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So, I mean, even if you operate outside of those laws, which, you know, I mean,
Slap
a lot of people
him.
do. You know, a lot of people do. You know, you're not subject to any laws or dictates of other men in this realm.
God, you are stupid.
You went full self-stick, man. Never go full self-stick.
Other than I need small. I've emailed Ivory, and I'd like him to respond to me and send me Swalwell's home address, because I need to send him mail.
Oh,
and
hell
it
no.
needs to be certified.
That is the face of someone who really, really doesn't give a shit what you have to say.
And he needs to sign for it. So unless he's going to be here at a specific time, I'll have the mail, or maybe I'll just hand deliver it to him and then he can sign it so I have proof of service. Because when I go to federal court with him, he's going to have to answer for what he did to me.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, please do. And then I've also made an offer to him. Like, I'll be happy to educate some of the officers on, like, the Constitution, because they do take an oath, right? Every officer.
The problem with you is you're completely delusional.
You probably even take an oath to support and defend the Constitution, correct? When you sign up here? So then, no, okay, yeah, and I'm not sure about that, but I appreciate you know, letting me know that you don't. But the officers, they do. They swear an oath to the Constitution. And these guys, I don't even think they know what the Constitution says. Because if they did, then they would understand they might be operating in a legal way, but they are not operating in a lawful way. And the Supreme Court is the supreme law of the land. So by the Fifth Amendment, you have the right to due process of law. And it states in the Fifth Amendment that you are not to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So unless you've taken somebody to court, you have a warrant for their arrest, you have no business forcing them to the side of the road by force of arms. And when you turn on those emergency lights, do you guys consider traffic stops an emergency? Well, I mean, like, expired license. Would you consider that an emergency? Does anybody ever call in here and say, hey, I have an emergency? I see somebody traveling without a sticker. You have had people call that in as an emergency?
Thank you, my peanut
my
gallery.
Goodness. That's the other problem. That's the other reason why, because I'm recording right now, as you probably know. I don't know if you've. Well, you look great, by the way. You look great. Now, I'm not saying that in a creepy way. I'm not trying to hit on you by any means, but these are very serious matters.
She could do better
and
with
I'm perfectly willing to
Hoover.
come up here and educate some of the officers, like that young kid that's in the back. He's going to be a great officer. I've spoken to him. I've interacted with him before. He's going to be a great guy, and I hope I don't get him in trouble for saying that. You know what I mean? But he was really open, and he was really interested in. I could tell just by the way he engaged with me that he was really open to learning what I was trying to teach him. You know, and I'm not trying to say this like I'm an expert by any means. I just started following this stuff in 2018. But
nobody cares.
That too.
Nobody. And you need to shut up.
But I've been obsessed ever since, and I think if you're going to take an oath to support and defend the Constitution, you might want to know what that Constitution says.
I don't know who this poor woman is, and I know this video was 6 months ago, but somebody really needs to send her a gift basket or something for being willing to sit through all of this word salad.
I was thinking some Krispy Kreme.
And what that Constitution says is you might be operating in a legal way, but you're operating in an unlawful way. And that might not mean anything here. That might not mean anything on the county level. It might not even mean anything on a state level. But on a federal level, that's where you're going to be held accountable.
We do not care.
Thank you, Pittsburgh Steelers.
And that's what I'm learning how to do right now. I'm taking law classes, and I know how to file federal lawsuits. And I'm going to be filing a federal lawsuit against Swalwell. And I'm going to be filing a federal lawsuit against Hartner.
Sounds like you still need to do more research, because clearly you haven't gotten to this part yet.
I just need to know where I need to send the mail. So that's why I need his home address. He knows where I live. He's gotten my ID before, so he knows where I live. I need to know where he lives so I can send him the mail.
Also, apparently, you haven't gotten to this part of your research either.
Yep. Public records exempt from disclosure due to Michigan's Freedom of Information Act. FOIA permits but does not require a public body to withhold the following information, including, but not limited to, specific personal information about an individual if the release would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of the individual's privacy. You know, like giving out his physical address. So, dude, shut up and go back to being your soft-tard.
You ever think you might actually be bad at this?
So, yeah, please do, because I'd like to educate his officers. I really would, because more and more people are going to be doing what I'm doing, and this is a growing movement that people are doing. It really is, and they might want to know how to interact with people like me.
Yeah, that's probably why the FBI is investigating people who do what you do, because it's considered to be part of the largest domestic terrorism movement in the country.
Correct.
So, okay, I appreciate you. All right, have a great day. Thank you. So there we have it. Okay, can't get Swalwell's information today, can't get Hartner's information today, so hopefully Lieutenant Ivory emails me back, because I need these people's addresses where I can send them mail. I'm going to be sending them something certified mail for a federal lawsuit, and these guys are going to have to answer for the fact that they violated my rights. They violated my Fifth Amendment rights.
You get nothing. You
Good
lose.
day, sir.
Good day, sir.
There was more after this, but let's be honest, it was just nothing but him rambling senselessly to his audience of maybe 2 people. But then you could probably sum up his entire life with that sentence. I've already made it abundantly clear that this guy has absolutely no credibility and is just outright delusional, and I seriously doubt a federal lawsuit is in his future.
I agree with you on that. I highly doubt it as well. But in case the idiot ever does, we'll keep an eye out for him. And if he does, well, we'll go ahead and put some more. Yeah. Hey, you got time for another one while I got you here? Because I got Tyrant Slayer. Yeah, that moron. You've heard of him, I'm assuming? Well, he's being a man-child over, well, just about frickin' nothing. Ooh. Nothing to do on that one. Yeah, let's work a little bit on that then. Alright, so let's go for it, shall we?
Alright, back at it again. City of New London, Connecticut, New London PD with Mr. Rogue Nation. Records, hours of operation. In. Congratulations, you could read. You're already smarter than 80% of the world's frauditors.
Don't give yourself that much credit so far.
Call me mistaken.
This area is closed to the public.
Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with that thing that's been going on for the past year or so. Starts with Pan, ends with Denick.
Thank you. That's a good way of saying it.
Took off. Lady from Records is running for help. There's people with cameras, oh my god. Well, it may not be the camera. Maybe it's the fact you look like Lex Luthor's meth head cousin.
I hadn't noticed it, but now that you mention it, yes, he does.
No. I buzzed him. I'd be careful there, Rogue Nation. After all, you and Doors don't mix very well. Don't worry if you didn't get that joke. I'll explain next week.
Oh, you got one for him? Okay, cool.
Give an explanation as to why this area is closed to the public. You know, for being obsessed of having to look at everything, I'm surprised you didn't notice this. And wouldn't you know it, not only does it offer...
There's a message on the friggin' glass right next to it. Our office is locked because of the pandemic, but we're here to serve the public in emergency only. Please give a call on the phone next to the deal in the vestibule that you're currently standing in. Son of a bitch, you think you might read.
For an explanation as to why the lobby is closed, but it also provides instructions on how to make a records request. There's no reason for it to be closed right now unless they had an incident here, and this is not a crime scene, is it? The blind leading the blind, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Push the button, I got nothing. Oh, there you go, call. Hello. It's not every day you see a payphone.
How may I help you?
Yes, I was wondering if I could request some records.
Hang on 1 second.
Oh God, the Connecticut soundtrack. Hey, don't you be disrespecting Opus number 1. That is classy hold music right there.
Yeah, it is. I've heard it in many places.
Yes, I was wondering if I could request some.
Well, what do you want to request?
I want to request a police report, and I want to request body cam footage if the New London police have body cam footage.
Okay, I might be nitpicking a little bit on this one, but if you're making a records request, you don't actually have to physically go down to the police station and then see the records department. We live in a day and age of technology where all of these requests can be made online. Here, I'll show you.
Oh my God, you were actually making a different video to be ready on this? Oh dear God. Yeah? By the way, he's pulling up. We pulled up the website of the New London Police Department.
Almost makes me wonder if First Amendment auditors don't actually know how the records request process works, because, go with me on this, they are there to roam the hallways and film the lobbies for their YouTube channels, and not to actually make a legitimate records request.
Okay, I can bring you the form. Just a minute.
Yes, the form.
Well, let's go again. How long would it take to... They might even have a press book, something that gives us like the last 12 arrests, something in town. And we could say, yeah, we'd like to check this case out. I'm sure the victims or defendants in those cases would appreciate knowing that a couple of giggling are poking their noses into their personal business. What was that? It's on the police radio.
Did I just put you on the phone?
Yes, about public records.
You should put a phone number there. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can.
Okay, can I use an email address instead of a phone number? Okay.
So despite the fact they could have just sent an email saving him a trip, the New London Police Department was able to accommodate them and provided them the means to make a records request. And everybody went home happily ever after.
No.
Oh, who am I kidding? It's Tyrant Slayer Studios. Of course he has to suddenly demand something unreasonable and then accuse them of being in violation of some law because they won't accommodate him.
Would we be able to inspect records right now if we had a specific case we were looking to just look into? Would we be able to inspect records here right now? Do you guys have a place for people to inspect records?
And there he is now about to change the rules. Now it's not about making a records request, which they are able to do for him. Now suddenly he wants to inspect records.
Okay. Also, do you know why the lobby's still closed? The government.
Because we were told to, I only work here, sir. I don't.
Oh, I was just asking if you knew, because I know the governor lifted the mandate.
Not sure when this video was filmed, but given where we are currently with the thing going on, I seriously doubt that. Also, again,
he's pointing back on the notice that's on the actual door.
So do we. We're journalists, so do we. We know the deal.
there is no one who actually thinks that you are legitimate journalists. Get over yourselves.
Alright guys, so we're going to make a request here.
Real riveting footage there, Rogue Nation. But then again, no one's expecting you to stumble and fall upon decent content.
Oh, hi, how are you? Good, thank you. Yes, we're just doing a records request. I thought I heard a police radio, so I came out to check out what was going on. Atta girl.
Dude.
What's the matter, Tim? Were you disappointed it wasn't a police officer you can harass and call a tyrant?
Hey, what department do you work in here?
He's gonna harass anyway.
You're a dispatcher. Perhaps you might have some insight. Well, just one of the roles of the department right across the way from you. I would assume records is right next to the dispatch or something. I just had a question. To inspect records, typically, we go all around the country and do what we do. Typically, there's a place for accommodations for people to come in and just, say they're interested in a specific case. Give you a case number, records, custodian of records will pull the information on that and give you a place to go ahead and just kind of inspect those records. I was really kind of perplexed with kind of being locked down in that little breezeway there. Yeah, why?
Why indeed? What possible reason could there be a limit on what public spaces are accessible and why there are signs that say you need a mask while indoors? If ignorance is bliss, you'd think you'd be a more delightful person.
Typically open to the public.
Yeah, she told me.
When the pandemic started and they just haven't unlocked it yet. I don't know when their plans are to do that.
Is there a policy on that? Is there a policy? Is there a police department policy or something regarding that?
I'm not aware of what there was a policy written. I know it was back when it started. It was like an emergency measure. I don't know when they're going to open it back up.
Yeah, because she won't even let us inspect records right now. I'm just finding that very hard to believe.
You were a specific copy of a specific report, or?
Well, irregardless, I didn't even need to get into it that far with her. They're just
That's not a word.
not allowing me to inspect records right now, which is a violation of the law.
It's false. No way. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction.
Okay, how many of those? How many of those Captain not Captain Picard, but William Riker clips do you have? God damn. But he is right. It is false.
We're putting a request in writing, which is fine enough, but we should be able to go in and inspect records, and it's just, I find it
That's
strange.
state law, but
Yeah, right.
That's what I was just explaining to her.
And notice she seems visibly confused by what you're saying, almost as if perhaps this is actually not the place to inspect records, and so no one here would know what you're talking about.
So I find it odd that the police department... No, we didn't pry so far. It just seems like it's going to be unhelpful. Who would that be? Do you have his or her name? Max Birch. All right. Maybe we'll do that. I have an officer there. Maybe we can get a hold of Max Birch for us.
I can go back in and see what.
Yeah, please do that. Yeah, that would be fantastic. We're with the Activism News Network.
Right in the vestibule where you were, and I can send him out there.
How long do you think this will take?
I'm gonna go back in right now.
How long do you think he'll get out to me?
I'm not sitting at the computer, so I don't know where he is right now.
All right. Well, can you follow up with me in like 3? Yeah. Can you follow up with me either way?
Well, that's why I was asking if you're going to be back in
Yeah.
the vestibule. Just wait right there. I can.
Sure. Okay. Great. Yes. I'm sorry.
Even when someone is actually willing to assist him, Mr. Riley again has the patience of a petulant 5-year-old.
We're going to find out.
I was going to say of a rodent, but okay, that works too.
Find out why we can't inspect records right now.
Because you're an idiot.
Or at least why his custodian told me that we can't. I'm also going to ask this gentleman, as I understand he's a sergeant, why the lobby is not open and who I would talk to regarding that.
Spoiler warning, they will give you the answer, and then you will simply reject the reality of it and then substitute it with your own.
I would assume these folks might have a PIL, Public Information Officer. Somebody that handles press inquiry. Maybe we can get that person out here.
Absolutely. If any actual members of the press show up.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm the person that you just spoke to outside. I'm sorry, hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just have to answer the radio for the fire department.
Okay. Take your time.
No, you won't, because then you'll bitch.
So Sergeant Birch had to go up to one of the courts with some records, but I can try to get you someone higher up than him if you'd like.
Yeah, whatever's most expeditious. As long as we're not kept here too long, we do have a long list of work to do today.
I'm sure you do, as all First Amendment auditors tend to be gainfully employed.
Oh, wait, you were making a joke.
Also, seriously, what the is that?
Yeah, so if we could be expeditious, that'd be great.
I'm trying my best for you. Hold on a second.
You're the greatest. Thank you so much.
Eventually.
Funny how that works. Hey, how are you? Good, thank you. Thanks for coming out and talking to me. I just have a couple questions. I inquired with the custodian of records inside. Under certain circumstances, perhaps I wanted to inspect some records here today, specific to a case or whatever is covered, right? I asked if you guys had maybe an area where I would be able to do that and just, no, we're not allowing that. We're not doing that sort of thing right now. I noticed the lobby is closed.
Yeah, the lobby's been closed since COVID.
Right, but the governor's lifted the mandate and all of these kind of restrictions and stuff. Now, is there a police policy? Is there like a department policy here that's pertinent to COVID or, this situation, why the lobby isn't accessible to the public right now and why it can't be accommodated to inspect records in compliance with the law?
Even if the lobby was open, you can't just walk into the records department. If you want to review any record,
right, no.
Can I explain? If you want to review any type of record, here's the form. It's an FOI form.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
Would you like to take a copy?
Well, sure, yeah. No, yeah. I know how this works. Sure. I do these a lot.
And yet you don't seem to learn from those experiences. You don't become familiar with any of the proper procedures, and you don't seem to recognize what's been going on the last couple of years that's been causing these restrictions.
Yeah, you can't just walk into the records.
But I can absolutely inspect records. No, I'm not. I didn't say walk into records department. I'm saying if I wanted to look at a specific case and request the records, I could speak to the custodian, provide her a case number. She can go ahead and pull the police report, find out if there's body cam footage. I can request that body cam footage be put on a DVD or a thumb drive, perhaps, one way or another. I can get a copy of all that stuff.
Start with that form.
I could start with that, yes, but to inspect records, there should be a place where publicly accessible for me to be able to do that.
Yes, there is. And it's not here.
I don't see the purpose of locking down the lobby. The health concern is no longer what it was. The governor has, dialed back on all of these restrictions, so I'm just asking for some explanation.
You're not owed an explanation. If you need access to records, there is a process in which you can request them. You were given a form you could have easily got off the internet and sent to them via email. The lobby being closed has had no effect on your ability to request to see records.
Right. Now, is there someone higher than you that's got a policy per this department that explains why this lobby is still being, why the public's being denied access to our lobby?
Like the mayor that said it, or I don't know who exactly said that rule in the play, but no one's necessarily denied access in the building. We just want to limit the access into the building. Well, right, but that has to come from somebody. Like somebody has to make
I understand that,
decision.
but unfortunately, I'm the low guy on the totem pole. It doesn't come from me. I'll address your concerns with the administration.
Well, I would think that the department should be hip. Well, right. I mean, because citizens are going to want to know. The public wants to know these things.
No, just you. Because you've got nothing better to do.
Why is my police department inaccessible to me?
Oh, here comes the selfish entitlement. My police department, my public servant.
It's not inaccessible. Like I said, you have a sergeant.
So, if I wanted to inspect some records in here right now, you guys have a spot for me to do that?
That doesn't happen. We don't just let people come into the building and inspect records. It doesn't.
But that's what you're supposed to be able to do.
The one I just gave you. Freedom of Information request form.
Yeah.
That's how you started.
Yeah, I know, but
there's two aspects, if I may, Tim. There's two aspects. That right there is to get records.
Right.
But by state law, to inspect records, I'm allowed to come in any agency, ask for the record. If there's nothing that needs redacted on that record, then the record should be available immediately for me to inspect. Right then, right there.
To be in compliance with the law.
That's state law.
My esteemed colleague Mr. Blue Bacon does a better job at explaining this, but the fact of the matter is, what you two idiots are saying makes absolutely no sense. You cannot simply walk into any police station and request to inspect their records. If you want police records, you have to request them via FOIA, at which point they are required to look for those records, redact any privileged information, and then prepare a copy to send to you or have you come back and pick up. This can take days or even weeks, depending on what you're looking for. There is no guarantee of access to police records the day you come and make your request.
Yes. You know what statute that is? What title that is?
No, it's under the Open Records Act.
Yeah,
FOIA
Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah, Freedom of Information Act. You can just walk into any police department and access any document.
Almost anywhere across the country. I do this all over the country. Yes.
Not just police departments. We can inspect records at City Hall. We can find out how much money this city has. We can.
Public information.
These two are so lacking in self-awareness right now. Rogue Nation just said as long as it's public information. The problem is, most of the case files in the police department are not yet public information. That's why you have to fill out a formal request for it, why information that's privileged has to be redacted, and only then would the information be appropriate for inspection. Public information is easy to access from places like City Hall or maybe the Department of Public Works, things like that, but police files are very different.
Is there any certain case you're looking for today?
No, we were just asking a question why we weren't allowed
right.
to do that.
I just asked your custodian perhaps if I wanted to inspect records today. Because I was confused as to why the lobby was closed. So I said, well, what if I wanted to inspect records today? Would I be able to come in and do that? She said, no. Well, that's in violation of Connecticut general statutes.
And which statutes that, sir?
Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure.
He's making bullshit up statute.
I'm 100% correct on that.
No.
Well, that sentence basically sums up Tyrant Slayer Studios in a nutshell.
I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that I'm 100% correct on that.
No.
Well, forgive me if I don't take your word for it. I mean, you are an absolute bag, so it is kind of difficult to trust you.
Look it up probably in like 5
2
minutes
seconds.
on my Google.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Connecticut Open Records Law.
Right. It's all there.
Inspection of records. Put that in the Google bar.
So, I mean...
Yes, let's do exactly that. Let's look up the law, shall we? Many thanks again to Blue Bacon, by the way, for not only directing me to this, but also better explaining to me how, in fact, that the very law that Mr. Tyrant Slayer Studios, Tim Riley, is accusing the New London Police Department of being in violation of, is in fact the very law that proves that he's completely 100% full of Title 1, Chapter 14, Section 1 through 210 of the Connecticut General Statutes may say that each agency is required to have their public records in an accessible place, but Mr. I do know that I'm 100% correct on that failed to read the other half of the freaking sentence, which states that if an agency doesn't have such a place, then all records shall be kept at the clerk's office. There is nothing here that says that they are required by law to accommodate you. What is it with you First Amendment auditors and only being able to read half of something? Is that all you've got room in your brains for?
Yes.
I feel like we're being denied access, and I was just inquiring as to maybe what the explanation is.
The explanation is that you're a stupid, egotistical, overgrown man-child who wants everything his way and wants it now. And when you don't get your way, suddenly you cry tyranny. You're arrogant about your so-called knowledge of the law, and yet you're completely ignorant of it. You try to
So others, Veruca Salk from, whatchamacallit, what is it, Willy Wonka. Okay, noted.
elevate yourself by belittling others, all while living in a deluded fantasy that allows you to cope with your insecurities and your failures as a parent and as a human being. Did I get that right, Mr. Person?
Pretty close.
Perhaps, maybe I'm just overthinking it.
No, I think you got it quite on.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
I think you're quite on, sir. I'll let you get back to your show and hope you have a great evening. Thanks for being with us. Alright, with us having just about 10 minutes left, let me see if I can just find us a few interesting, sorry about the yawning, a few interesting Karens to wrap up our session. Oh, let's see. Karens. Oh. Perfect. Karen. Yes, I'm talking to you, Karen. Come on out and play.
And then my mom has my actual insurance card. Is it temporary? I think she's on her way here. Okay.
He is in the process of getting insurance. He's like, I just last week got his insurance or talked to his insurance.
Did he drive here or did someone drive here?
Do what?
Why am I not surprised that she's from Missouri?
Did you drive here?
I drove here.
How much have you had to drinks tonight?
Not much. I was at home and then my son called me, so.
Yeah, well, what we're going to do since you drove here, we're going to do some tests to make sure you're alright to be driving.
I'm fine. I'm a justice of the peace. I'm an elected official. Please.
For the love of God, I certainly hope you're not.
What was I supposed to do?
Step on that line and face me.
Face you?
Yeah, face me.
Face you?
Yeah, face me. No, face my direction.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, he can.
An elected official. He called me.
And
he called me because he's an emergency situation. God just told me to walk up the line. I was here for my son. He was in an accident, not for this. This is the only reason why I got out of my car. Dude, take me home.
I'm not being
Let them take me home.
I'm not being a jerk.
Let them take me home. I am a justice of the peace from Washington County Quorum Court.
Look at me.
I know Sheriff Helder. He is a friend of mine.
I know him too.
Sheriff Helder is a friend of mine. Call him.
I didn't ask you to have your mom be on the line.
It's not her fault.
It's not my fault. I'm
yes, it is.
You're being a jerk.
No, I'm not.
You are. You're being a jerk. Why are you being that way?
Let me see. A officer of the law actually upholding the law is being a jerk. And considering the back roads that this is happening at, yeah, I can believe it's Missouri.
Why? How old are you?
I'm 24.
You're 24. I'm 41.
Okay.
Do you have kids?
Yes.
So in other words, you should fucking know better.
Okay. So understand the fact that when your child calls you and they've been in an accident, you're going to be there no matter what.
Not if I've been drinking now.
That's not true. I'm going to talk to Judge Woods. What is your name?
Officer Paredes. Officer Paredes. Step back.
Oh, no, I am a officer of the court.
Here you are. Stop.
Do you stand?
I refuse.
God damn, it's taking this long. The clip started in the daytime. It's now pitch dark.
I'm a third-grade teacher. I have to go to...
Wait a minute. You said you were a justice of the peace. Now you're a teacher instead? Karen, you lie much?
Professional development tomorrow morning.
Stop.
Record this.
It's being recorded.
Can we drive her home?
No, she's going to jail. You're over here accusing me of something, saying something that I never said.
Cops will have us on. We all know that.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you for being understanding. Cops lie all the time. Go ahead. Have a good evening. Go.
I appreciate your help. I appreciate it.
No, you can go, sir, or you're going to be arrested for obstruction.
You better go. I'm not
Go.
putting
Yes, my investigation round. Good luck to you, okay? Good luck to you. And good luck to you.
Well,
have a good evening. Cops lie all the time, sir.
Well, he watches YouTube videos all the time. He's older.
Well,
I don't.
But it's going to get towed. Yes.
We can't take it?
No. Especially when I have someone like that being extremely disrespectful. You need to get off my scene or I'm going to take you to jail too. For obstructing. You're on my scene right now. You can't even, you're not even supposed to be on the highway. Get in your car and go.
What about this car?
It's going to get towed.
It's okay, Dad. Can I get my wife?
No, because I lie. Go.
It's probably going to say watch YouTube.
I know, but I was at my home. I was fine until I knew my son was in trouble.
You had been drinking and you
I had a few glasses of wine. It doesn't mean that when my son called and said
And by a few glasses, she's actually had several bottles.
he's been in an accident, then I'm not going to go.
You got to find a ride. You can't drive.
What are you talking about, dude?
That's excuse.
I'm going to make this so fucking public. You're going to be so fucking... This is so bullshit.
I think the public's going to like the way that you're talking to me, the way you're cussing. That's what we want.
I love it.
I'm not.
And you know that, then why are you arresting me? Let me go home with my freaking family. That was he did someone do in that case.
Call
What
her
does a parent do? They go to their child.
Or you
That's what I did. I went to my child. I was in professional development all day today for my school. I am a third grade teacher. I also drive a school bus every day.
Okay.
During the...
So wait a minute. So you're a bus driver, a teacher, and a judge? Something thinks you lie a lot, Karen.
You mean okay? That's what I do.
Okay. What? I don't know what you want me to say to that.
I was elected for a reason, and I am a law-abiding official. I was drinking at my home. My child got in a car wreck.
So?
My child got in a car wreck. What would you do? What would you do if your child got in a car wreck?
Run to my neighbor and drink it.
Call someone. There's no time. All I knew that he was in a wreck. I just needed to get to him. He's my only kid. How dare you for arresting me for that? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with your sense of good doing? My God, I was going to my kid. I had like 3 glasses of wine.
That's 3 glasses too much. And again, it's more like 3 bottles.
By the way, I'm a single parent. By the way.
And that is supposed to have an effect on this.
You got it exactly right, officer.
Oh, okay. Right. I was at home doing my own thing, and my child was with his girlfriend and had a wreck. And I went to the wreck, and I got arrested.
Correct.
You're the reason why cops have a bad name.
Oh, he's the reason why cops have a good name.
That were there for a child. My child needed me. You took me away from him.
So if
he was just in a wreck, and my kid needs me, and you arrest me when I could have gone home with my dad.
Like I just said.
It's political. I think it might be political. Are you being political right now?
Wait a minute. If you're 41, that guy that was there, it was not no 60s and 70s. Again, Karen, lie much?
No idea who you are, and I can care less. So no.
We didn't know who you were until you told us.
Watch me. What's your name again?
You said you wouldn't forget it. It's Officer Paredes.
So
Paredes. In front of the store right here.
My bra is coming down. Can someone fix that?
They'll help you out. A female will help you out. I'm not going to do that.
My kid totaled his car and you have me here. Who are you?
Officer Paredes with the Paredes.
I'm a school teacher, a bus driver, and an elected official, and you arrested me. I just wanted to get to my kid. Anything to do with you, Officer Perez? I have nothing to do with you. You are a bad person. You are a bad person.
Listen to me.
A good person would have let me go home with my dad or my brother because I went to my son's wreck. You, on the other hand, someone being rude.
It has to be someone else. That's childish. Act your age. Okay, you're a grown woman. A suspension on your driver's license include, but it's not limited to the suspension or revocation of your driving privileges.
And I am
and if you are a
bus driver.
listen, and if you are a commercial driver's license holder,
wine in my own house, and then now I'm being.
And if you are,
that is bullshit.
No, you're not.
I actually said a prayer in court yesterday for all of you guys. Whatever you know, I want to know what's going on with me. Call Sheriff Helder.
Are you going to make a decision?
No, I want you to call Sheriff Helder. No.
I need you to make a decision, or it's going to mark it as a
Please
refusal.
call Sheriff. Don't try to pressure me.
I'm not pressuring you. I don't want you to be marked as a refusal.
Call Sheriff Helder.
Are you going to make a decision?
No, I want you to call Sheriff Helder. No, no. Call Sheriff Helder, please.
No.
Please.
No.
Please.
Keep going, keep going. You got to go harder. Keep going, 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 keep going.
And I worked for I advocated for your chief of police. Please let your chief know.
I can let him know, but it's going to be tomorrow in the morning when he comes into work. I'm not going to wait anyone up.
Exactly what you did to me. I will let him know it all. He knows me, and I stuck up for him in the court. Remember that. My brother was there.
Tight seal and blow like just.
My son just had a wreck, and you arrested me in front of him.
I asked him.
You put me in cuffs in front of my kid.
I walked you over.
Oh, no, you didn't. He saw it all.
Deep breath, tight seal, blow, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
You have no idea. You have no clue. You have no clue. Me being here is all you.
I accept that. Deep breath, tight seal. Keep going. You got to blow harder.
I'm so glad.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
My son just had a wreck, and you arrested me in front of him.
I asked him.
You put me in cuffs in front of my kid.
I walked you over.
Here, you're proving that he did the right thing here.
No, you didn't. He saw it all. I watched it all.
Take a deep breath, tight seal, blow like you're blowing a balloon until I tell you to. Deep breath, tight seal, blow, keep going, keep going, keep going. The final result of this test, the final result of this test was a .17, almost double the legal limit. That's why
you're fucked.
You weren't arrested because you showed up, and you were arrested because you were 2 times the legal limit. Your first result was a .185. Second result, 171. You're almost 2 times the legal limit as far as the final result is concerned. It doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't matter what the situation. You cannot drive or operate a motor vehicle on the highways of the state in that condition, and that means nothing. You could check yes or no for that additional test down here at the bottom. So.
And Karen, stop being an idiot and stop driving when you're drunk. So the 2 top teams go down in football. So in 2 weeks, the actually let me say it as Colbert would say, the Superb Owl will be the 2 teams people did not expect to get there. The Bengals and the Rams. With that, though, we'll wrap part 2 to a close. Come back for a new Art Bell interview in the overnight. Until then, of course, do like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals of boxing extras of 5,000 views and 1,000 subscribers so YouTube starts sending us items so we can send them to you. Till then, it's a great new world to release to crack. And again, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you overnight for another portion of From Day One.